Hello everyone, welcome to Literature with Rachana. Today we will study Class 6, Lesson 5, The Mask, Question and Answers. So let me directly move on to question number 1. Question number 1. After all, he is already had a shock and... Now this is the sentence. Let me move on to the question. Who received the shock? What was it? And what was the speaker suggesting? So we will give answers like that. Who received the shock? The shock was received by Raj and Babu. What was it? He received a threatening letter with words cut out from newspapers. The letter read, means in the letter it was written, be prepared to pay for your sins. The speaker was suggesting, last question, the speaker was suggesting that Raj and Babu should not be told that his son was in town so as not to upset him further. Already Raj and Babu was in tension. He got a threatening letter and he was very tensed regarding it. That's why the speaker is suggesting not to disturb him more. So let me move on to question number 2. Question number 2 is, how did Feluda come to know that Raj and Babu was in some kind of trouble? So we will introduce Feluda also in this answer. Who was Feluda? Feluda, the private detective, and his cousin Topshe were holidaying in Darjeeling. Base sentence. Then we will write the incident. While sitting in a mall, Topshe overheard Raj and Babu confiding in his friend. And what was he confiding? About a threatening letter that he had received by post. Topshe thought Raj and Babu, who was an amiable man, would need help. And that's the reason he informed his cousin Feluda. So this was the answer 2. Let me move on to question number 3. Question number 3 is, what were the contents of the threatening letter? Why was it not handwritten? The words were, be prepared to pay for your misdeeds. Students, here I have written misdeeds. You can also write sins. And every letter of the words had been cut and pasted there. Why it was like that? The reason could be that the sender was known to Raj and Babu and he would recognize Raj and Babu. Raj and Babu would recognize the handwriting if he will see. And that's the reason the words had been cut and pasted. Let me move on to question number 4. Question number 4. Why do you think Tenkori Babu came to Darjeeling? In what way did the purpose of his visit change? Answer will be in perhaps. Okay, when we are not having the specific content in the chapter, we give our idea. So let's see what we will give. Tenkori Babu came to Darjeeling to perhaps take a holiday or maybe for a change of scene. Just for a change he came to Darjeeling. But when he found out that Raj and Babu was the same person who tripped him and upset him as a boy, he decided to change the purpose of his visit. In place of visiting the place, he started taking revenge and used the opportunity to take revenge. So this is the way the purpose of his visit was changed when he saw Raj and Babu. Let's see what is question number 5. I can't tell you how I spent the night. This is the sentence. Let's see the question. Who said these words? And what had happened to frighten him? So, why he said these? These words were said by Raj and Babu. He had woken up in the middle of the night to the sight of a masked face bending over him. He saw at the middle of night, he saw that a person wearing mask, putting mask and bending over him. And that's why he was frightened. Let's immediately move on to question number 6. Why was everyone surprised to find out who the culprit was? Let's see the answer. Everyone was surprised to find out who the culprit was because from the very beginning he only showed care and concern for Raj and Babu. Who the culprit was, children? Yes, Tenkori Babu. And he also very cleverly provided several reasons for other people to have committed the crime while appearing genuinely interested. He was taking very good interest while solving the case and ensuring that the case was solved, because he was giving so many of excuses and reasons for perhaps his son can be a culprit, perhaps Ghushal can be a culprit, doctor can be a culprit. He was giving himself, he was providing all the reasons. So that's why everyone was surprised when they came to know that he only, Tenkori Babu only the culprit. Let me move on to the last question of this chapter. Question number 7. Would you agree that Feluda is a good detective? If you're not agree, say why not. And if you agree, say why are you agree. How we will write the answer, let's see. Yes, Feluda is a good detective. As soon as he visited Raj and Babu, he made a list of people that were in touch with him to find out if anyone had any motive to frighten Raj and Babu. He was very sincerely working from the very beginning. He even investigated Dr. Fani Mitra, Ghoshal and Prabir Mazumdar and tried to find out the reasons to commit the crime. He was searching out what can be the reason that they are committing that kind of conduct they had done. He also observed the mask closely and was able to smell cheroot, which led him to the culprit. Very carefully he was investigating. Therefore, we see that he looks for clues that can connect the event to the people in the house. And this tells us that he pays attention to minute details and is thorough in his investigation. And that, of course, if he is doing these kind of deeds, he is really a good detective. So these are your question and answers of the chapter The Mask. So have a nice day. Bye bye.